It's important to note how effective and impactful this culture has been to generations of youth across the planet. Although it did start here in the South Bronx, New York City, it soon permeated across the globe and affected people in similar ways, where it's almost created parallel universes. I know for me, it's the culture that kept me from the dark side of the streets and gave me purpose and gave me hope through creativity and expression. And while these things are taking place here in the States, there are things that are taking place elsewhere. As the years go by, the same people that influenced us influence people in Germany, Europe, Asia, Africa. The same thing about that intangible feel, that vibe that the culture creates that motivated us, motivates people in Antarctica, the Netherlands, Canada, South America, Africa. You know, truth be told, Neil deGrasse Tyson came up here, astrophysicist, and said all things started in Africa.
Yes.
All ethnicities, I don't care what you are, what you claim, you trace it back, it all started in Africa. So I thought it'd only be fitting that we have one of the guys that started the careers, inspired the careers, motivated a lot of careers through hip-hop in Africa. And he came to join us today, ladies and gentlemen. Some folks know him from Toomey in the Volume. We know him as Stogie T, all the way from Africa, here on Sway in the Morning, Shade 4-5. Welcome to one and only Stogie T.
Hey, you. Hey, you. All right, okay.
How's that, man?
Yeah, that was good. That was real good. You known for those.
You know, well, I try to make it right, man, and it's coming from the heart. There's no, no script here, just my notes, but my notes don't have anything to do with my intros. And having you here, in the past couple of years, I've been doing this outreach, and I've had a lot of people from different countries come by the show, or we play their music. And one of the things I found, a common denominator in the stories from all the artists that have come here, whether it's AKA or whether it's Casper Noivest, or if it's Questa, it's Nasty C, if it's your name always comes up in conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that, man? Who is Stogie T, man?
Stogie T is Tumi Mulekani. Maybe it's because I'm an old head. I don't know. I was here before all of them. I think we're a big part of the formative stages of this thing in the continent. I give you a timeline. Hip hop started, at least in South Africa. It was in Cape Town. Cape Town's the cultural hub of hip hop in South Africa. You have the b-boying, the graffiti, the MCing, all that, right? And we're from Johannesburg, so Johannesburg is more of a metropolis like New York, right? And it's more commercial. It's more, we the ones that burn the CDs. We the ones that, had that whole thing going.
The industry of hip hop was in Johannesburg.
Exactly.
Okay.
And there was this place called Le Club, which is like an afternoon nightclub, right? It'll start at 6, at 12 in the afternoon and end at 6, right? Young people there. And, it was literally just hip hop, but everyone would stay for that last 30 minutes at the end, because that's when the open mic set was, So that's where you had the squatter camps, you had Pro Kid, God bless his soul,
Kid, man, Pro Kid. I need you to tell, because I posted something about Pro Kid, and you guys had a big celebration after his demise, and he was important to the history of hip hop.
Incredibly important. I mean, so hip hop generally in South Africa, it was adopted by a privileged kind of class, as in because we could speak English. You understand what I'm saying? So Pro Kid, what he did is he shifted it from like the English speaking to more to the hood, and the reason he was accepted all over the country is because of his skill set. We all of us had to embrace him because his skill set was incredible. So he's a very, very important artist. Where I'm from, and was part of that kind of starting and building this thing, from that, you know, I mean, I toured the globe. I toured, you know, and I had a label. I put artists on.
Okay, so you speed now. Let me slow you down. Don't worry, I got you. I got you. What year the club? What was that? Was that popping?
The club is like 98, 97, 98.
97, 98.
Yeah.
And then from that, you got popular.
Yeah, from that it was, you know, just your name, right? Your name rings from the freestyles, from the you know, open mic sessions, and a big jump or something that happened that kind of brought the hip hop to the mainstream was Squatter Camp, which is a big hip hop group back home. They got signed. They got a major label deal, you know. But at the same time, what was happening is, you started to see this friction with the languages. You started to see this friction. Okay, so the guys who rap in English are not really it's not really homegrown South African, blah, 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 right? And then the guys who rap in local vernacular, they're the authentic, you know, we all came from the same place. But just because of that difference, you started to see this kind of split happen, you know? And I kind of, you know, at the same time, I was touring, you know. I started the band Threw Me in the Volume, and I was touring in Europe and, you know, North America as well, in Canada and stuff.
And so you start spreading it around the world.
Yeah.
What is your relationship with Casper? Because a lot of folks said that he at one point denied your influence on him, and that it was friction at one point.
Right.
Was that what's the relationship? What's the history?
That's a lot of misunderstandings. So when Casper was starting, you know, I had a compilation that I put him on. You know, he was definitely, he's a product of Double HP. God bless his soul as well. Who recently passed. He's definitely comes from that Motswako lineage. But you know, I had worked with him when they were younger. Now, I would never claim anyone's success, even if I have worked with you.
Yeah.
And you know, I would never claim that, because you know, you have to prove, right? You have to do the work yourself. So I'd mentioned that. I just mentioned that, I'd worked with a lot of these guys, and he thought I said, I created you. So then you know, then the backlash. He was like, yo, man, you didn't create me, you know. And I was like, yo, that's not what I was saying though. But you know, I mean, I have the utmost respect for Casper Nyovest, you know, and AKA and what these artists are doing today, because they have taken it to places where we would never imagine, man. You know what I mean? I mean, they're filling stadiums. They you know, hip hop is not even the biggest genre in South Africa, but they're doing this, you know, stuff that is eclipsing artists in bigger genres like gospel and stuff, you know. So that how can you not commend that? I mean, you know, I'm a product of being put on, bro. You know. Yeah. And I was just carrying on tradition, you know.
Okay, so there's no friction, no beef
at all.
Okay, cool. You changed your name.
I did.
What made you change your name?
Just time, you know. I'd been doing, so I was at the band Threw Me in the Volume for a while, and then, you know, when the band ended, you know, I just went with, you know, Threw Me, and it was for me, it was like just the name Threw Me in the Volume, right? It represented something that I felt like, yo, I'm not there anymore. I started that thing when I was 19, 20. You know, I'm in my mid-30s now, right? So I was like, yo, I'm not there anymore, right? What I want to do is kind of, I want to be a repository. I want to represent all my people's stories, encompass all of their stories. You know what I mean? Because usually they'd be like, okay, he's a conscious rapper. When you start talking about, you know, bad bitches in the club, when you start talking about wanting to get it, success, and when you start talking about, it's like, yo, people go, yo, this is not Threw Me though. This is not the, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, no. I wanted to literally be deliberate about it and say, look, I'm purposefully doing this so that I can represent a lot more. I'm not saying I still talk about, you know, my mom's as a soldier, you know, and I'm going through a season where I still talk about, you know, but I want to talk about it all. Well, I felt like, you know, sometimes your legacy can be a prison. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where it's like people go, oh, yo, you feel me? Yeah. And so I was just like, nah, I'm, you know.
You wanted to change things. You wanted to pivot and show more sides of yourself, and the name Threw Me kind of locked you in and pigeonholed you into a box. But you talk about you said you still bring up your mom and your parents. They were exiled?
Yeah, so I was born in Tanzania because my mom and dad kind of had to flee. They were involved in the struggle. And Tanzania was kind of like called a non-frontline state. It was like a little safer to have the camps there, you know. Whereas Mozambique and Zambia was, you know, it was too close to home, right? So that's where they'd have the camp. So that's where I was born, and I pretty much lived in my mom's suitcase all of my life, you know, until we came back home. You know, I was like 12, 13, you know. So that's, you know, like exile, really.
Why were they exiled?
They had to run away. So
okay, but for what? What were they? What happened? What did they do?
I'm not sure if I can say it yet.
Because of how it might be received over there.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I can say it yet.
Okay.
Keep him protected.
That respect. Okay, I won't get you thrown in jail. Y'all still dealing with that, huh?
Well, I mean, look, yeah. I mean, look, it's a country with an incredibly dark and tumultuous history, man. You know, and you know, some of those things have to come out the right way. You don't want to just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just be, you know, so. Yeah.
I was reading something, and I believe it's in South Africa, where a lot of folks are asking for the land back that the white folks had owned
apartheid.
And through apartheid. And so now the indigenous folks are like, okay, that's over. We want our land back. Right. Am I saying this correctly, or what's going on over there?
Yeah, I mean, yo.
Can you talk about this?
I can. Of course. No, look, you're talking about a country where the majority is, you know, 80% black.
Yeah.
Black Africans, right? Black South Africans. And they own 3% of the economy, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, you're talking about a very, very minute minority that owns the majority of the wealth in South Africa. And, you know, so there are programs in South Africa to kind of redress or address this issue, right? Focused on, you know, redistribution of wealth, redistribution of land, you know, and yeah, it's ongoing. And because our population is also very young, you know, it's like 70% youth, you know, between under 35. So it's gonna be militant. It's gonna be energized. You know, some of those conversations are gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot less decorum about them. You know what I mean? So you kind of catch that. You know,
those young folks ain't having it. You know, when I have Nasty C up here, I feel like I'm getting a good insight on the mentality of a younger person in South Africa. Right. You know, I'm sure you saw the interview.
I did.
We talked about racism. He's like, man, I can't really say I experienced that. When you look at his social media, man, this dude is aiming for the sky, and he's getting a lot. He's winning. You know, he's selling a lot of music. He's spreading a lot of love. He's a very successful young businessman. What are your thoughts about how you seeing the hip hop scene, the genre, advance and grow now in South Africa as opposed to 98 or 2006?
Yeah, incredibly fascinating. Yeah. I think that, you know, when I was traveling, you know, earlier on, it was like, yo, what you were starting to see is people expected, because you're from South Africa, people expected you to have some kind of message. People expected you to talk about the political situation, you know. People would question, why are you rapping in English? Why is there a little thing to your accent? All that stuff, you know. And, you know, you know, you roll with it, and you explain that, yo, we're not one monolithic thing, you know. It's like people are different, you know. But with Nasty C, what you're starting to see is, you know, a complete rejection of that, of saying, yo, because his name is Ngobo, right? That's enough.
Yeah,
that's enough. You know, he's gonna represent his experience, how he lives. I mean, people, you know, there was a little bit of backlash about that. Him saying, "Yo, I've never experienced racism." People going, "What? What do you mean? He doesn't know what racism is." You know, back home, you know. And I was like, "Yo, but that's his experience. That's his experience." And isn't that what we're trying to achieve?
Right? You know what I mean? You want your kids not to go through the same shit.
That's it. Yeah, you know.
Okay, man. Stogie T is here. The new mixtape is Honey and Pain. Yeah. We're gonna come back and play. I'm gonna play some music real quick, and we'll come back with some more questions and see if he flew all the way from Africa with no bars, or did he bring bars? We're gonna play this song "Pretty Flowers," and it's featuring Questa, who's a good friend of ours, on J Marley. And Mags. Yeah. Okay, and this is off the new mixtape. You can get it everywhere now.
Yep.
Honey and Pain. You got to see the video. They look like straight bosses at a table, slicing bread and meat. Sway the Morning, Shade 45. Stogie T is here. His social media is
At Stogie_T on Instagram and Dumi Mulekani everywhere else.
so that's STOGIE_T. We got Jeff on the line from Seattle. Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, what's up, Sway, everybody? Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Say hello to Stogie T.
Hey. Yeah, good morning, Stogie. It's good
Peace.
to meet you. I'd never heard your music before, so this is good.
Thank you. What's up, Jeff?
Yeah, so I just want to say I've traveled the world. I'm a poor kid from Seattle. I don't necessarily relate to a lot of the messaging in hip hop these days. But traveling the world and seeing how hip hop is kind of bridged cultures, and I understand the messaging that hip hop's bringing, and I think your music's doing the same. And I just wanted to shout it out and let you know I appreciate it.
That's what's up, man. Make sure you follow him, Jeff. You got to hear this album. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. A citizen.
It's Sway in the morning. Stogie, I'm really appreciating your story and your music. I went to South Africa, to both Cape Town and Johannesburg. It was one of the most momentous experiences of my life. Apartheid, I've always been interested in the way that it was handled with the Truth and Reconciliation Committee. And I've wondered in modern days if there's a major mental health campaign happening in South Africa the way it's happening over here in the United States, especially when we have more conversations about racism, what happened systemically throughout the generations, how it's affected us internally. Mental health becomes front and center of conversation. Is that happening at all? Suicide prevention, anything of that?
Wow. I mean, there are obviously, amazing question, by the way. There are broad kind of programs in general, right, for, kids in abusive homes, that kind of thing. But that doesn't speak to what you're talking about. That's a very specific thing. I think there are different sides to the response to what happened with the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Some people would say, look, it's important to just start to bring out these stories because these things were hidden. All these things were in the dark. They were in the shadows. And when you have that thing. And they pretty much incentivized people to come and tell the truth because they'd say, yo, you won't serve this much, we'll be lenient on your sentence and this. But, other people would say, look, complete justice and complete, you need a count and be punished and you know what I mean? And serve some kind of, for the society to go forward or whatever. And beyond that, you need to start to heal these kind of cultures of violence that still kind of persist, and it's difficult to say. The reason I say your question is incredible is because we're kind of dealing with that now, where incredible artist in South Africa just recently died. Double HP, Hip Hop Pantula, and and they're citing mental issues, and mental health issues, and it's only kind of coming to the fore for us, we're starting to address this. So, hopefully it kind of spurs a movement that kind of starts to address these things.
Maybe that's something you'll spearhead, Stogie T. Put that in a conversation.
Yo, I'd love to. Yeah.
Tracy will fly over, just so you know.
Hell yeah.
Stogie, let me ask you, because you have some people who they label some artists, if they speak about social issues or injustice or political things, that they're kind of the backpack or intelligent conscious rappers. And then you have people who just talk about whatever random bullshit, the clubs, the bitches, the money, and all that stuff, and they're just labeled as rap. But with regards to how you were saying, there's certain things you can't talk about, whether it's in an interview or just even in rap, with regards to Africa. How do you navigate things that you want to talk about that relate to you that actually happened, and so you can spread awareness versus just rapping about random shit?
Okay. Well, no. I didn't mean to say that there's stuff I cannot talk about. I was just specifically talking about that one issue.
Why your parents got exiled.
That's it. But generally, so the whole reason I even went with Stogie T, right? Stogie is another name for a cigar, and typically a cigar is takes about 7 years to craft this thing, right? They still make it the same way they used to make it, 50 years ago, whatever, right? And to me, I that resonates with me, that idea of craft, but also a cigar represents high class. It also represents the workers, right? It represents the people who make these things, the working class, the Fidel Castros, and that's what I want. I want this thing to encompass, to kind of be like, yo, it covers the whole spectrum of humanity, up, down, high, low. You know what I mean? Like, and honey and pain.
Yeah,
you know,
honey and pain.
That's
I like
it. That's
the name of the mixtape.
So I talk about everything, bro, and I want to.
So a lot of people, we tend to, like, even in the States, people clump regions together, the West Coast, the East Coast, even on the West Coast, LA is the same as Oakland, which is not.
No.
And I'll ask you about a Nigerian artist or a Tanzanian artist or someone, WizKid, who is totally different from.
Yeah.
You got. What are the differences?
Well, I mean, so WizKid, Davido, and they make like Afro beats, right? Yeah. Which is more dancier. It's kind of, honestly, akin to Kwaito.
Okay.
Akin more to Kwaito, so it's more, it's like dance music, and with regard to like AKA, a Casper, they would be MCs. Those are rappers.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, and the form that the rules we follow are very specific.
Okay.
As you know. Yeah. So I think that would be the difference. But again, they're nice little niches or pockets of music that exist. I mean, Afrobeats is very new as well, just like the kind of it blowing up globally. So it's really beautiful to see people embrace something that is homegrown, and that's a beautiful thing.
Man, you could be teaching lectures at a university if you like to, man, just on the history of music and hip hop in South Africa and beyond. And one of the things you said that stood out to me, man, it's a difference between that and being an MC. Ooh. And there's rules to being an MC. And when you step into the Valley of the Hyenas, the only rules you have, Stogie T, is you got to bring bars. Yeah.
Okay.
Stogie T, South Africa's finest. Sway in the morning, honey and pain.
There ain't a French bottle, we ain't pop a fresh article, we ain't cop Ben's top that we ain't dropped, and dress model we ain't knocked. Festival we ain't rock, destined to beat us hot to the best of my knowledge. Rest of the marriage, that's saying a lot, but if you taking stock and you don't save a spot for the forsaken lot, from the bacon heart, land of the slavers dark, that's your prerogative. We polar opposites. I'm from that continent of poverty and long walk accomplishments, where former heroes give birth to spoiled rotten kids. The opulent meet the poor, cleaning their offices. We push rocket ships like Elon Musk, charge the whip but still stuck in shit, cause we don't got a pot to piss in. Say God forgives as you give the church half your shit. I'm bugging still, we can tell a pastor from a pimp. It's Roman Catholic, it's Anglican, it's African tribesmen, migrants, shit, it's masked men kidnapping kids. I say South Africa, you think Trevor, I think Nelson, it's half apparent you getting mixed messages. Hey, I say Nigeria, you think fella, I think Delta, it's past and present blurry as an impressionist way. I put your certified hyenas in elephant graves. I'm punching way above the ceiling you said is the grade. This is the red letter day, show them how a vet is made. Last time somebody skipped this file, David Blaine. These ready-made superstars with tattoos and scars, and you think they can save face with a few bars? They lukewarm, I'm in true form, 38 like Jordan in Utah, killing them with the flu shot. Struce God, that means trust me, I'm nutty as RuPaul, but I wear out a pussy like King Jaffe in New York. What could you do, bro? When I promise you all the smoke, I am so Calvin Brodus to Snoop Dogg. This is the diary of a madman who should have been stamped champ, but I wrote above their heads like Anne Frank. Fam, I'm a giant amongst ants, like the tyrant from Baghdad who's saying I can't hang on camera. Grew up with hammers, M16 hammers, no dances, miss me with MC Hammer. I'm a cool G rap alumni, these my handlers, the Kufi Nas from NY, Jesus Medallion, reading Langston Hughes, El Hajj Malik Shabazz and them shit. In the pocket like the Audubon assassin, they gon' photograph an African prototype of a starving kid, but not show you the royal blue Aston Martin whip. It's complicated. Woo. And fuck vibranium, educate them. We got ghettos too, and they orange juice concentrated. But Bo Brady said be measured in your actions. Give them honey and pain, happiness and the anguish. Like when Tony got the flooded rollie and we called it hope. For all the times the Popo had my folks against the ropes. For all the times we drove a shorty out to Mary Stopes. And all the ones we almost broke, but still be calling hoes. They fall for men who end up teaching them the rope of dope. These the broken homes we from. It ain't sweet like it's marijuana, leave highs like Maradona sniff white. Strangled by a short leash, my mama hold her fist tight. Tell a bigot he can sucking liquor piss pipe, cause we gon' get that level up and win in this life. Hey, I'm from the real South, not the fried catfish killer Mike. I mean that township, real South, where blacks go through hardship like a round trip flight. It's batshit backwards for the wrong skin type, and I am disliked, but I don't give too many fucks. When they set the bar, I look back and tell them where it was. This shit ain't for everyone. Second cousin and aunt taking the dump on our culture for a radio chart. Hey, but I ain't mad at you. Might even dance to it, and half the world can watch me Thanos snap to it. Rest in peace, Pro Kid. Rest in peace, Double HP. Rest in peace, Relative Padella. Rest in peace, Ben Sharper, Stogie fucking T.
Oh my God! Oh my God! We got a hyena up in here!
International style.
Oh shit! We got a hyena up in here!
Absolutely.
You said fuck vibranium!
And they really got hyenas in Africa.
Oh shit! You didn't like the Black Panther movie?
I loved it. I
Oh,
loved
okay,
it.
okay.
Of course I did. Rest in peace, Stan Lee, man.
Okay,
You know?
okay.
Yeah, and the Thanos reference. That was
Wow, damn, man. Shit. We got executive from Chicago on the line. What you want to say, executive one?
That was really good.
Bruh, Sway,
Yeah.
Sway. Man, I listen to you every day, bruh. Shout out to the whole crew. Man, dude is fire.
We brought it. Thank you, man. You're a citizen. Buy his project.
Appreciate it.
Honey and Pain. You know, Ryan Coogler is from Oakland, where I'm from, who wrote the movie. Okay, cool,
I
man.
see the parallels, Black Panther, the Black Panthers. I see all that.
It's all that.
I see all that.
People liked it over there, right?
Of course, come on, man. Of course. That you had this was trippy. You had us who had an indigenous culture dress, you know, like a fictional African culture, which is amazing. You know, it's like full circle shit. You know,
Full
it's
circle,
amazing.
right.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Stogie T, ladies and gentlemen, get the project, Honey and Pain. You did that, son. You're a real hyena.
Hell yeah.
No. What you say about the hyenas? You said you'll eat the. What you say about the hyena? You said something in there about the
Picture
hyena.
certified hyenas and elephant graves.
Yeah. Wow, damn, man. Stogie T, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you, homie.
Boom. Thank you, sir.
Bucket list.
Real bucket list shit, man.
Yeah,
Real
it is,
bucket
man.
list shit. You are an institution. Thank you, everyone here, man, for having me.
We get a lot of love from South Africa.
Yo, it's warranted, man. It's warranted.
Tell them we love you back. Well, I'm coming home soon. I'm gonna be over there soon.
That's
so
what's up.
I got family from Tanzania. But I never been.
That's crazy. I was born in Tanzania.
I know. So when we go, you gotta walk me to the community.